So I just wanted to make a quick video talking about how you should build out competitor comparison pages. Usually for most clients that I work with, I almost always recommend that that's one of the first pages that they build out. I kind of consider it to be a mix between sales enablement content and content that can work for SEO. Really more for sales enablement, if anything, more for UX, people who are considering the product and trying to learn more about it. So I noticed that some companies are can sometimes get it right, sometimes they don't get it right. For most cases, when I do recommend these competitor comparison pages, I'm usually always recommending a comparing against an actual competitor and not just saying something like comparison versus others. Sorry, my dog wants my attention. Do you want to come in the video, bud? Here. I think my dog wants to come in the video. Oh, this is a good hook. Here we go. So Annie, do you want to talk about competitor comparison pages? But anyways, I just wanted to use a few examples of which competitor comparison pages that I like, what kind of like what you should take away from them, and kind of like any takeaways that you can take from a few of these examples. So usually the first one that I like to start with is Ahrefs, and the reason that I like to start with them is just because I think I don't really see a lot of people doing this, but I noticed that the data part of it is probably my favorite, honestly, where they actually have different surveys that not even just Ahrefs has ran, but you have other people in the industry that have run these surveys, basically asking people how they like which tool they prefer using, whether and it's almost always going to be SEMrush or Moz. Those are the two biggest ones. Also, this guy is teething, as you can tell, he's only 8 weeks old, and they have all of these different surveys that you can basically take a look at. So obviously, the first thing that you come across when you come to this comparison page is social proof, and you can tell there's a lot of data that you can look at here. I think the one thing that they go wrong with, or not go wrong, but the one thing I wish they would do differently is just mentioning the actual differences between SEMrush and Ahrefs. I think they kind of only they only talk about the actual differences, or just like how Ahrefs is better than SEMrush, and I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with that, but I probably would consider more of a comparison because that is what these pages are supposed to be, a comparison between two different products, and they don't seem to have it on this page. Do you want to join in the video? So yeah, I mean they do a good job of like saying how their product, why they consider their product to be better, but I think the thing that I like better is what's it called? Ones where they kind of take this approach where they're going to talk about the actual specific differences between these products and these specific companies. And I think I saw this with ClickUp, and I'm seeing this. Okay, I'm going to put you down, bud, but you can't go crazy. Is like when you look at Monday.com, ClickUp, Asana, it's going to tell you all the different features that this product has and that these products don't have. I mean, in this case, they're saying partially. Um, I mean, I think this is always the best visual way to put it because if someone's looking between Reich and Monday.com or ClickUp, they really want to know like what's the specific differences with the features that they're going to be able to get. Maybe there's a specific feature that Monday.com has that Reich doesn't have, or maybe there's a feature that Reich has that Monday.com doesn't have. And I think that's something that they'll always want to take a look at. And that's kind of what I was talking about with Ahrefs that I felt they were kind of missing out on. But and in any case, if you are building out these pages, I almost always will recommend having this specific table just to kind of compare the different products here. And I think even ClickUp has a better example of this, and I like it a lot more because they have all of these different sections that you can take a look at. I'm just making sure Annie is not going to pee on the floor. Please don't do that. But you can actually click over to these pages too. So if you want a more specific comparison of ClickUp versus Monday, you could click over to this page and see the specific differences between the two. And I mean, I still don't see it a lot. I think most companies would appreciate, or most people would appreciate it if you were honest with the review. And it seems like they are being pretty honest, but the one thing I don't like is when it's just all green down here, like, oh, we have it, we have it, we have it. They don't kind of point out any of the things that they don't have, which I guess makes sense. But honestly, in my opinion, I just like being honest. And I think as a user, you just want to know everything that you want to know what that product has, what the competition has, because why would you want to bring someone on if they're only going to leave once they realize that you don't have a feature? So my advice would be to be honest when you're creating these pages. You could do it like ClickUp, where it's just green across the board, or if you want to be more honest with your review, be honest to your competitors, be honest about yourself, then I would do it that way. Obviously, most of these times people are going to have social proof here, and you're going to have the conversion option right at the top. And I think that most people, the thing that most people consider is that these pages actually can drive a fair amount of traffic. I mean, obviously, in this case, it's only driving 186 clicks. If we come back to Ahrefs versus SEMrush, this page is driving 100 or 1,000 clicks. And I think the thing that you just want to keep in mind is that this is basically the last search that someone's going to take before they decide whether your product is right for them. So if they're doing that search and your competitors have a page dedicated to you, like assuming you're Monday.com and ClickUp's basically saying that you have all these features that they have and they're making themselves seem like the best option out there, then they're kind of controlling the narrative around your product and you're not really saying anything in return. So I would at least just recommend having a page dedicated to all of these searches, as long as there is search volume for each page. And even if there isn't search volume for each page, I would just recommend having it on your website so people who are navigating can find what they're looking for. So overall, like I said, if you are building out these pages, just make sure you can incorporate data, make sure you can incorporate social proof, make sure you can incorporate this table. Be honest. Um, and usually you don't have to get too crazy. This is what Ahrefs had, is just a little bit more specifics about why they consider themselves to be the better product. But at the end of the day, I think the biggest things that you do want to include is that data in that table. And once you have that, as long as you've covered in detail, you kind of covered what your audience is looking for, you pretty much have all of it built out.